Well, well, well.
Look what happened this week.
Yeah, we voted.
We did.
And I'm quite angry, upset that people don't learn. That they're content with their lives as they are, knowing that there's other choices.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the fat cats on top are getting fatter and the people underneath are getting skinnier and skinnier and having more problems and hardship and just sufferings.
Yeah.
But the people at the bottom allow it.
Yeah. But I suppose it's about people have instilled this fear into people for so long. And because of that fear, people are hesitant to try something new. But I mean, in a sense, the election results are, in a way, quite a surprise. I suppose you can take it that way as well, considering we've been under ANC dominion for the past 30 years. And so the very fact that this is the first election in 30 years that's actually, it's changed from the ANC not being the majority. It's something. But you look at now the ramifications of what's going to happen should we form a coalition. Well, it's inevitable that we're going to have to form a coalition. ANC is going to have to make a coalition with either the EFF, the DA, or the MK party, which would be the logical thing in order to get them the amount of seats that they need in Parliament.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking it's very rich for whoever went to the, what was it, ICC or the ICJ, what's it called, International Criminal Court, to actually tell them that the Jewish nation is trying to wipe out the Arabs, the Palestinians. I mean, it's very rich for you to actually go there. Meantime, back at home.
At home, your country is busy burning. And you run it into the ground.
Is burning your people that you've made so many promises to.
But you've got a lot to say when it comes to the international stage.
Yeah.
And you like freaking pointing fingers and criticizing all this other stuff that's going on in the meantime in your backyard.
You've got
people don't have power and freaking
and
potholes
water and potholes
unemployment
and unemployment and beggars on the street. And it's not just blacks, it's whites and blacks.
No, that's the thing.
Males, females, everybody.
Yeah.
And I wish the international community would get over that bloody word apartheid. Get over it.
Yeah, also us here in South Africa, it's been 30 years. And it's also, look, I understand, there's going to be people sort of listening to the YouTube video and they're going to be like, but you were never under apartheid, you don't know the sufferings and blah, 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 blah. Look, we're not going to really get into that, but the thing is, it's been 30 years now. How many people alive now have actually suffered under apartheid? And so it's kind of this whole thing of, this affirmative action's gone too far, this BEEE whatever the thing has gone too far, and there's so many things that just aren't making sense and it's not adding up. And it's not stuff that you would want to promote in terms of having a party that shares these beliefs. It shouldn't be one that, that you would want to back. You know, you want to back a winning horse. You want to back a horse that's going to at least do some kind of good for you in terms of making your life a little bit better. And yeah, I understand the whole thing of, you know, do we need to take responsibility for our own lives? But the thing is, you know, Proverbs 29 verse 2 does go ahead and say that, you know, if the wicked are in power, the people suffer. So it's
Yeah, and it's to actually realize the ANC stands for nothing.
Well, they stand for stuff that's
only concerns them.
unbeneficial
Yeah,
to everyone except them. Yeah.
which is corruption.
Which is corruption and
Yeah.
all the stuff that, funny enough, everybody has become so used to.
Mm.
And then by getting used to that, people are so petrified of the idea of maybe we can change. Maybe it can change. Because we'd rather stick to the devil you know than the quote unquote devil that you don't know, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's also SABC, South African Broadcasting Corporation or whatever. They have been whipping that horse. It's the white's fault. It's the white man's fault.
Yeah.
That horse for the past 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, and I actually saw something very interesting. If you blame somebody, you haven't started the journey. If you like half blame yourself or something like that, you are nearly there. If you take responsibility, accountability, you have arrived. And the ANC has been blaming the white man for the past 30 years.
Yeah. But I think that's exactly what they've done these past 30 years. They've gone ahead and blamed, you know, the old regime of apartheid for the sake of keeping people in fear to prevent them from changing.
Yeah.
So that they can keep themselves in power and the people petrified of change, so the people can continually vote for the ANC to be kept in power.
Yeah, and that's also why I have heard it said when I've spoken to some black people that they know they've messed up, but they are so scared to get the white man in power again because of what the white man is going to do to them. We are not like you.
Yeah.
We don't play those stupid little childish games.
Well, look, it's but the thing is, it's not even a race color. The thing is, it shouldn't be about race. It shouldn't be about whatever. It's like, who's the best
to actually
qualified to get the job done?
Yes.
You know, who's got the best policies? Who's got the best ideas in order to make the economy grow? Who's got the best idea to,
uplift as many
initiate
people
free
as
trade,
possible.
free markets and stuff like that. And the ANC is against, unfortunately, all of that kind of stuff. So it's, you know, it's got nothing to do with race. It can be a freaking pink person for all I care. It doesn't matter who's in charge, as long as the people prosper and as long as they're concerned about the people.
Yeah, and that there's also companies coming here to actually invest.
Yeah, I would imagine there's lots of interest in terms of, you know, we're sitting on quite a lot of natural resources here in South Africa. And so there would be a lot of companies that are interested, you know, international companies, but I mean, in terms of, you know, bureaucracy and in terms of corruption and in terms of all these things that these companies would have to go through and, you know, wade the waters, is it really worth it?
No, because at the slightest disagreement, we burn down the factory.
Yeah.
and it actually costs those people money, so they just pull out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just basic common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really, it's madness, the reasons why they actually vote for a particular party. Oh, he gave me a kiss. I mean, like, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't you think about your children's future?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, do you just want a kiss? Yeah, so,
Well, I mean, again, you know, the election results are the election results.
Yeah.
So I guess it's going to be. It's going to be, at the very least, we can say it's going to be different
yeah,
from. I don't know that
Yeah.
it's. I guess it's too early to tell if it's going to be different in a. It's going to be a better different or a worse different.
yeah. I think just, I'm just feeling a bit miffy at the moment.
Because yeah, again, logically, the only way I see it going is they've got MK, sorry, which is Jacob Zuma's, who was obviously the former president of the ANC. He's gone ahead and done his own party. So we've got the MK,
And then
we've got the DA, or we've got the EFF. Those are the three that the ANC would most likely form a coalition with, because it gives them the amount of seats that they need.
Yeah. Yeah, and why
And-
on earth we've got so many parties in South Africa?
But again, I think that's also by design.
I mean, there's not enough people. And everybody wants to be king.
Yeah.
So you actually said to me that there were 50 parties?
I don't know. It's kind of like the genders. You know, how many genders are there
Yeah.
these days? There's hundreds. So who knows?
But it shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah. No, it shouldn't be a
Really?
surprise.
I mean, yeah. With all the madness happening in other countries
Yeah.
and all these factions and activists running around that know nothing about, first of all, life and the history behind stuff and why it is happening.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah.
It's like South Africa wants to jump onto the bandwagon. You know?
Yeah.
Like, let's join them.
And that's why, like, I mean, you know, South Africa is once again a great, in a sense, we're the forerunner in the death spiral. You know, this is what happens when you allow corruption to go unchecked.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you allow, you know, corrupt politicians to run the show and do whatever they want without holding them to account or anything like that. And so, you know, in a sense, we're ahead of the curve. I think we talked about it in an earlier video, but we're ahead of the curve. And, you know, you've got Europe that's starting to follow, you've got America that's starting to follow. And this is basically what it looks like. And if they don't sort their stuff out, they're going to look like us in 10 years. The rate it's going, it's, you know, they're starting to look like us now.
Yeah, and it's been so quick.
Yeah, relatively it has been.
Since 2020.
Yeah.
You know, and all these factions, activists, they really seem to actually come out of their state of hibernation every four years
Yeah.
in the USA, you know. just to come and cause problems, chaos, mayhem, anarchy.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
So getting back to the election results, so you've got the MK party, you've got EFF, and you've got DA. Like the only thing that I can see DA going for, which I agree with, is they're open to
free
free markets.
Ah.
Which is, which at least is a step in the right direction. Well, that's a big step in the right direction. I mean, if you decide to open up trade and you decide to, have a more capitalistic mindset than this weird communist / nationalist mindset that the ANC kind of has.
Isn't it more socialist? Yeah, well,
Well, socialist, communist, it's not much of a difference. So, the DA, if the ANC decides to make a coalition at least with the DA, there's some kind of chance. Again, I'm against the DA in regards to everything else. I don't think with all the other stuff, they're not that great. Well, they're terrible, but at least with the free market, they're inclined to have a free market ideology and way of thinking, which is
a little bit
far, far more beneficial than currently what we've got now. So if the ANC decides to go with the DA instead of the MK or the EFF, which are a bunch of Marxist mad people, commies, then we've got potentially something, but it's going to be a tricky sell because the ANC and the DA are almost opposed to also everything else with how their party stands.
Yeah.
So, I don't really see
how they're going to be working together. And I mean,
but it would be great if they do. It would, on paper, it would make the most logical sense that they should be the ones working together. It should be the ANC and the DA. And also, if you had to think about just the votes, the DA was second place. They were second place regarding the votes.
Yeah, because I think generally many white people voted DA.
Yeah.
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 And
I would imagine so. Yeah.
I think generally Africans also voted DA that had stuff to lose.
Yeah.
I'm just putting it out there. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, it's possible.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people also there was a lot of people that got fed up voting ANC and you don't see the change.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, if this stuff ain't going to change, they're not going to keep their promises to us.
Let's choose
they've had 30 years.
Best thing. Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, well, let's go ahead and choose someone else. DA's more than likely. And that's the thing, if we claim to be a democracy and we claim to be all about, we're going to go ahead and do what the majority wants. If anything, you should go ahead and use that understanding and look at the election results and be like, okay, well, the majority wanted DA.
Yeah.
So, second place, second place majority wanted DA. You can tell by the votes. So if we're going to be democratic, then technically you should form a coalition with the people who are second in place according to the majority.
Yeah. So I'm sure there'll be some people watching this that don't quite agree with me, but that's fine. So we'll see what happens over the next few weeks and once this settles, but I think the people in power must not forget the people put them there.
Yeah.
And I honestly, from being in power for 30 years, that tells me dictatorship.
Well, that's exactly it.
That's it. 30 years. same thing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, regardless, I mean, it has been 30 years and it's finally a different result.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. All that I do know is that 2028 is coming. And then we'll see what happens then.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it for today.
Okay, cool.